No way! Holy macaroni! Do you guys see this? This is what I'm talking about. This is what happens if you don't put any effort into keeping your hobbies alive. But wait, how did my shoes end up in such a filthy situation though? Let's take it from the start. When I was a kid, the only thing I used to think about was finding the next opportunity to sneak out of the house in order to play with the kids in the neighborhood. And as we grow up, we also pick up various hobbies, but as we transition into the adulthood and find a way to make a living, the situation completely overturns as most of us get so busy with the life, constantly working 40, 50, sometimes 60 hours a week, that we hardly get any time to spend with our friends. And pursuing hobbies are no exception, at least for me. But recently, I've been given a lot of thought about it, and it irks me like crazy because I feel like I'm unable to find any time to pursue my hobbies anymore. There are certain days when I have to work late because either I have to deliver a project or I have to complete a write-up for a new one. And this really stresses me out because it affects my next day's momentum and productivity. And one day, this is exactly what happened to me. I worked late at night, and the next morning, my energy was completely drained, leaving me fatigued with almost zero motivation to work. But that day, something interesting happened. I was on my Google Drive to free up some space, so I decided to delete some old photos and videos, and while I was at it, I stumbled upon a few pictures of mine when I actually used to go hiking and spend a good amount of time in nature. And it really hit me hard like a nostalgic way, which kind of forced me to rethink about resuming my old hobby of camping in the woods. And after being hit by such nostalgia, I really wanted to just pack my bag and hit the road. I just checked my calendar, and there's a problem. I was planning on going on a camping trip coming Saturday, however, I have a meeting scheduled on that day. So if I postpone the meeting and plan for my hiking trip instead, there's a high chance that I'd lose the upcoming project. So yeah, I'm in a little bit of a predicament. And you know what? It's a very common situation. It happens to us all the time. But I think sometimes we have to try to understand what's important to us at that moment. So after 2 cups of tea, a slice of bread, and a lot of thinking, I finally decided to postpone the meeting and immediately started preparing for the trip. No way! Holy macaroni! Do you guys see this? This is what I'm talking about. This is what happens if you don't put any effort into keeping your hobbies alive. These are my hiking shoes, and over time it's been collecting dust and filth and God knows what else. This is literally a true representation of what happens to our hobbies when we keep them in a shoe rack and never open it for years. So yeah, after being taken aback by the shoe situation, and with a lot of embarrassment, I started to look for all of my camping gear, not just to check its condition, but to pull them out and clean them because I was determined to go on this trip anyway. Alright, so it's Friday night, and I think I've prepared everything I'm gonna need for this trip. What else? I think we are good. So, tomorrow's gonna be the day. So the next morning, I woke up even before the sunrise, made sure my phone was charged for the day, a book I'd like to read, enough layers to protect me from the cold, and went through the final checklist for all the essentials. And then, finally it was time to load up everything and hit the road. Alright guys, here we are, and I can see a trail right behind me, but I doubt my car can go through it because the land looks very uneven. So I think we're gonna have to proceed further on foot. After abandoning my car in the middle of nowhere and realizing that I'm poor enough to not be able to afford an off-roader, I carried on the trail to find a nice spot for setting up my camp. As I was hiking along, the fresh cool air and the grassy smell of the forest were just filling me up with new excitement, and I was constantly smiling ear to ear, just thinking that probably I made the right decision to reignite my hobbies and just do the things I absolutely love to do until this happened. Hey guys, I think the sole from one of my shoes has started to come off, and I really hope it holds up for the rest of the trip. So let's see what happens. Guys, I'm in quite a pickle right now. Check this out. My shoe has completely given up, and I think there is no way I can carry on this trip further, which means I've got two options. Either I can set up my camp right here, or I can head back where I came from. But the problem is, I can see a lot of uneven land and a lot of rocks here, which means I can even set up my tent right here. And at this point, I don't even want to go back either. So I'm gonna just sit and find a solution. Let's see what happens. You know what? I'm not gonna give up because I think I may have a solution. And as I sat down to find a way to fix my shoe, I remembered a quote from Bear Grylls: improvise, adapt, overcome. After fixing my shoes and discovering to keep at the pace all you need is a piece of lace, I carried on to find a suitable place and settle in for the day. Cool. This kind of looks like a nice place to me. The land is even, we've even got some water coming a little bit inland, which is good. So yeah, this is gonna be it. So as I was setting up my tent, preparing my campsite, and chopping wood, I was just thinking, this is it. This is what we need in our lives. Hobbies play such an important role in relieving stress by keeping us engaged in something we truly enjoy. They let us relax and allow us to seek pleasure in activities that aren't associated with work or other responsibilities. They also kind of make our lives more interesting because when we have them, we have different experiences that may come in different shapes and sizes. We've got stories to share with other people, which they may find exciting and interesting. And as it was getting cold, it was finally time to sneak inside the tent and call it a night.